Hello, gents. Nothing from more here nor there. A few things I had jotted down. This is not movie-like material. This is, well, it won't be that bad, but I guess to start it will be because I need a little bit of this. It's coffee. What I wrote down over here, I'm going to read it back to you, but I'm not going to read it to myself before I read it to you. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to have to read it back to see exactly what it says. Today's action will be tomorrow's pay. Thus act well, thus tomorrow will cost a fortune, as this present action, okay, will be the cost of man's future. So you see, we actually know what the cost of the future is because it's so easy. Start from zero and build it up to whatever it would take from zero, and then you'll know. Is it that hard in this world to not be able to figure out that difference? We have to be confident in things, and we have to be confident in things that we use the right method in finding the answer. If we do not have the right method, our intelligence based on any other method will never bring us to equality because we don't know any other way, or we don't want to know any other way. If I had to say whose name did God choose within the writings upon the land, which actually means in your language, all words, all chosen words, country names, religions, were all justified and reasoned. Okay. Now, I do not have the justification of every single one, and for the ones that I do have the justification for, it is my justification. Therefore, based on what the consensus would say, half would say, well, what good is your word? And the other would say, your word is great. So my word is therefore, take it as a grain of salt, see it that way for the reason and within the word, because I will make it make sense, but I will make it make sense in the world of MrTacpans of letters, numbers, shapes, and colors. And the word is Arab. One part of the word, okay, says AR, angel resident. The other two letters of the word, AB, angel beta, angel resident. If you take just one part of the word, you can call one part of the word Abba, which means father. And if you go the other part of the word, and we're in creation, so automatically let's add in that third number 3 of creation, you have Barack, like Barack Obama. Barack Obama is, you don't say, hey man, what's going on? You just go, hey man, what's going on? Same thing. So man can be the same thing, because in all relation, it's the love of one angel, the M and the B. So then we would have to ask ourselves, how and when can we include the Romans? Well, we include the Romans when MrTacpans says we're going to use Roman numerals. That's what the Romans have to do with creation. And what about Israel? Well, Israel is a bunch of people in which they call it Israel. It's a nation. Israel is a word. Israel is not just a nation. It is the word that means freedom. The minute you hear Israel, you must think, oh God, because everybody goes back in history to Moses, to when he saw God on the mountain, and he said, oh Lord. And then after that date, like what came first? Moses, and he said, oh Lord, I am who I am, or this next song, oh say, can you see? Who are they looking for? What are they looking at? By the dawn's early light, what are we looking? That we killed everybody in front of us? Or that God was always above us watching us because we were doing the right thing? Or God was above us watching both sides, watching one do right while he watched the other do wrong. He was happy for one the way they were able to get into this world, and he was unhappy for the other and sad as they had to leave this world. So we bring Roman numerals into this. The nation of Israel, the liberty, the freedom by law, forfeit the liberty. If you are not Israeli, you are forfeiting the liberty. Israeli means not the person of, but the law of I am. I am, you do not pronounce the H because the French do not pronounce the H, as well as when you say hi, you say the first hi, how high do you go, but you don't say the next H. They all have to be mixed up. Because I'm from here, Ronald Fremeth, and my family comes from Russia, and my grandmother's almost 98 and still alive, and because of my brother's names and my family and everything else is the reason I know what I know today. So this is my own world, okay? All of us can do this, but when all of us do this and we start to get to the same answers, it starts to get to be a lot of fun. When all our worlds start coming together, only because the numbers come together, it becomes so easy after that. That's when it starts to become a lot more fun. And you see, for me, when I say it, I already know it's fun. I know it's fantastic. It's insane, an insane world. So now we're going to go back to when I say nation Israel, I think somewhere in the Bible was misread. Just like I think a lot of things in the Bible is misread, because it seems like everybody keeps writing the same chapter, the same numbers, and the same story over and over. They're all seeing the same story, telling the story a different way, when they're reading the story completely wrong. They're reading it wrong because some of the stories are not even there. The oppositions to the stories are not there. So we can see the oppositions, but there's more than just the opposition. When you see, when what happens is the pedal boat effect, right, is because we're in this world, but we're in that world, but we're in this world. And we can't actually see around the corner what's going on. We can't vision in our minds. It's so hard to explain what that is. Oh my God. Like the number 7, like the Lamed. Okay, I'm going to show you a Lamed after the Hebrew letter. Okay, one is going like this, while the other one's going like this. It's just really, really weird. And you know what? If I listen to this again, I don't even think I can get into my head to re-explain it to you, to even understand it myself. I don't even know what it is. I'm sorry I got into it. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I got into it, because now it's going to bug the crap out of me. Wow, I got something inside of me so great, I can't even tell you, and you know I have it. Now we both know I have it. You don't know what it is, and maybe it's nothing, but since you've seen everything else I've done, you think it's something. So now what is it? Will I find it in the future? Am I able to tell you one day of what it will be, what it was like, to actually find what it is? And you know that 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, I'm going to be online with it telling all of you, because I have to share. You have to share. We have to share. If we don't share, we don't care. We don't become the fair share care bears. Okay? If we don't share and we don't care, we must share. We must share. That's all there is to it. We have no choice. You see, this is a part of freedom. We have to share more. Okay? And things are going to cost less. The thing is going to, like, we cannot be at the true value of our dollar if every time, I mean, how is somebody actually ever really making money? People are going bankrupt and starting over. New trillions are coming in, but it's only the bombs bursting in air that are bringing in money. Okay, that's right. We were with "Oh Israel" and "Oh God" came before the national anthem. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so now you don't have to believe in God, but this numerology shit that I'm doing, I learned in my sleep. I learned it by having visions in the streets, by driving down the street, and it was like an amusement park for me. Look at that sign. Look at the number on that sign. Look at the color of that sign. Look at the design of that sign. Oh my God, look who just passed me. Look at his license number, PO1358. Oh my God, I can't believe creation of the past. In the heavens, he's passed me. He's got a blue Mercedes. That's really cool. I'll follow him. What speed am I going? 55? I'm going 65. I'm going 72. I'm going the number of the 2 islands of 7, the beta God. for all those silent angels who have passed on in the spirit world of the musicians in number 27. So I drive further down the highway and I get to this exit and it's got a number on it and it's got a name. And I'm driving the car. And I got a friend in the car. So we're two. We got two arms each and we got two legs each. We got all our fingers. Mine is a little sliced up. So, you know, the point of life is a little bit marked up itself. So we're going to get on to this next one here. Back to Israel as freedom. Israel is a nation. It was based on a God of his own vision. This creator-like person had his own vision. And his vision to the Israeli nation was to have the freedom and to raise the children in their own land and to share amongst each other. That was their vision, not to pray amongst gold, things that will go up in value and down in value. Pray in something that will always retain the same value, because you do not need evolution of a man. You do not need evolution of a man. We have the evolution of the man. We're it. We get to decide. This is the world we're in. We get to make our choices. We know what's right and wrong. We're all fighting for the mighty dollar. Okay? We already have it. We're perfect. We're in between. We can go both ways. Isn't that fantastic? We were built in between the two sides. Open up the tap, let in more water. Close the tap, let in less water. There's still water coming in. Put a little hot, mix it up with the cold. Although it's coming from another tank, and the hot water will always run out first. So that's what the nation of Israel is all about. Hebrew is something else. Jewish is something else, because Jewish is for everybody. All the word means is I. It means I and high. High and I am. It also means I am and I have to give. Why does it mean all this? Because in French it goes back and forth to je. Je means juice. Je means a game. Je means I. The I sideways is an H. So now you got high je means high to the game or high to I. That's what it is. High to I. So God has all these little names just to say that we are all one basic. In this one world, we must play like the eights play. Crazy eights. We must keep going around the same people, the same bearings, ticking off the same people. And you have to know that in reality of this game, okay, you do not kill. Therefore, he will mend with you or you will mend with him. And that's the only way this works. It's the air around me. For every time I move, that air surrounds me again. Without that air around me, I'm dead. You know the needle that injects nothing? Well, if you get injected with empty space, they call it in an airplane, they call it turbulence, okay, or air pockets. You don't want to be in an air pocket. You're dead. You fall into an air pocket of life, you're dead. Israel is a nation. It's a name to be. Now, the people that are in there, that I told you everybody wants a jeu, because jeu means the game, and the game is 6-22-6, because the game of cards and card game and dog and queen all have those numbers. And like I told you, all these numbers will be so solid to the core of their relation to each other. 22 is life. Now, I hope to get on to where I was. I was on Israel and je. Okay. Now, what the je is all about, another part of je, is everybody wants to play. And the craziest thing, everybody wants to wish. Everybody has a wish. We all have a wish and a hope and a dream. And it's not that hard to accomplish. We can all accomplish it right here. All you got to do is like this. I am going to do what I wish for. Therefore, I will complete my dream. But to wish and not to do, a wish will never come true. And part of this was partaken upon Dali guy from somewhere on the internet that's very fantastic. He tells the people a certain thing. He's very good. So we are the ones. So we all wish. Jewish is just French and English mixed together saying, I wish. That's all it is. Hebrew, okay. Just like in Hashem, the name, you hash it all up. His name is hash it all up. Ha, okay, but it says Ashi. It says S-H-E in the name. It says H-E in the name. It says complete words inside the word of Hashem, because he's chopping himself up. He's in all of us, like Moses said. Hebrew, okay, is he, okay, or E, and don't pronounce the H because the French don't. Brew, it's a mix, it's a combination. It's a new nation of a combination. That's what this might be all about. You know that? I think somehow that in between the changes of the new times, every 5,000 odd years, a new kind of person comes out. And I guess in this one, they can call it the nation of the Israelis, where the word that they must talk is freedom. And everybody's going to say, wait a second, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. No, wait a second, let me explain this to you. Okay, I just watched the Ten Commandments last night. Okay, now the basis of the story, everybody wanted their freedom. And when they got their freedom, they turned around because they didn't know who to pray to, and they went to a golden calf. How weak can man be? And then Moses came from the top of the tower, and all of a sudden they turned around and they ran to Moses because he was still alive. So all you have to do is remember to pray on Moses, even if he never came back, as the entity that brought the goodwill on the people instead of the golden calf. It didn't make really much sense in that story. So Moses was here. That's the letter M. Jesus was here. That's the letter J. Was anybody here with the letter K? Because the next one is the R. But the whole thing is the K goes with the R, because the K in cards in French is a R for roi, or a king in French. And at the same time, the R sounds AR and the K sounds KA. So you have a car. Man comes as an R in a king's car, because the two go together in cards, in the French and English cards together. KAR. The 13th card is the king. The 13th maximum, the letter M. The last one to love was Moses, then to Jesus, and now to one with the angel resident, the one in the real world, because the electronics exists in our world, the angel resident that we can now call part of the matrix world, in which we couldn't actually call this in the time of Jesus, nor in the time of Moses. So I can see it like Joshua, bring me my computer. Yes, Moses. You'll bring the scooter up, we'll cross the desert overnight. We'll be on the other side. Mount Sinai, yeah, get the girls out with the ropes, or bring the helicopter. We'll just drop off at the top and walk down for a few minutes. We're a little busy playing golf, and God's teeing up off the, I guess, off of Mount Sinai today. Is that the way it is? Pretty cool, eh? 4,000 years ago, Moses in the desert on a scooter. Holy fuck. You know what happens? Moses said, I take y'all on. What happens? Nefertiti shows up, okay, and Pharaoh shows up. Moses is there. What do you think Moses is doing? He was going like this. He was saying, Morpheus. He's going, yeah. He says, send Neo, he says, with the guns. And Pharaoh is laughing, ha ha ha, because the guns, everybody knew what the guns were back then. They were just little sticks and stones, and they were laughing because they had shields. But they were machine guns, and he took them out, and he killed everybody but Pharaoh, and he laughed at them, ha ha. He said, from what world you come? He says, I come from the one nation of liberty. That was it. Right there, that was the end. No religion. All calculated mostly with using the Greek way and Roman numerals. Do you know why the Greek way and Roman numerals? Well, they say the Greeks go actually from the wrong side. Well, they go from the wrong side when they have to be on that side. If you take the number 1 and stand it up and put an X next to it, depending on what side you're at, that's going to be either 9 or 11. Roman numerals and Greek at the same time. If you see it backwards, you'd become a Jew. Since I'm English from Quebec, I see it the other way, so I wouldn't know what's going on, because I didn't know it existed any other way, because I got a small mind. I can't see that far. Anyways, let's get on and for well that We went through what Jewish and Hebrew and Israel was all about. We said the Arab is the heir of all man, of father, mother, and angel. The Arab, A-R-A-B, angel, resident, mother, and father. So the Arab represents actually the whole family. The Arab represents the family. The Israelis represent the freedom of the families. Then there are those of Palestine. Now, Palestine actually is the land. Okay, that's why I think they're fighting with the Israelis, because the word Palestine means the land of the tiny, the land of the small. It is the palace. It is the ace. It is the East End Palace. That's what it says here. It is the Peace Palace. It is the like turpentine. It is the place where laws fall between one side and the other side. The reason I say that is because the Suez Canal, they go through it, or they're on this side and that side based on the laws. Okay, there's two sides of the laws, and which side are you going to be on? So we can use Palestine for that, because everything that happened in the Middle East, okay, forget about what's happening out here. All this bullshit with the Illuminati, this is old stuff. Okay, go back to the real time. Go back to the pharaohs and go back to Egypt. Just look at the word Egypt. Part of the word Egypt, okay, is a representation of what is coming on in 2 years from now. In 2014, okay, it will say the same thing. It will say Egypt on the Hebrew calendar, because it's 5775, which is the representation of the fifth letter E, okay, and the seventh letter G, which says egg, G-Y-P, okay, G-Y, okay, G is 7, Y is the 25th letter, is 7, okay, the E for Egypt is the fifth letter, so you have 577, you have the egg, and the point, P and T, is the personal spirit, the beta world, 2016. Okay, that says 2016, but it's also, it begins in 2014. And well, it begins at the end of 2014, so it's going to be 2015, and boom, within 1 year, it's going to be 2016, which is the introduction of the new single spirit in the new worlds, because in 2016, it's actually be the world of the passage of the gates, because we are into a new calendar, okay, and this year is actually 003, and next year will be 004, and 2016 will be 007. I'm going to end this, and I have a lot more stuff to show you. Little things, little by little. Another thing about Israel is that the first two letters in Israel already say 15. It already says 6. Instead of saying Israel, it should say S-R-E-A-L. And one of the reasons for that is because the 1 and the 5 and the I and the S looks like a 5, so it can be interchanged. Another thing I wanted to mention, which I've seen this only in a design. I've seen a design. Okay, I'm going to try and make you this design, show you this little design. See this over here? This is the H, okay? This is what they wanted to make. But when they crossed over this, right? Imagine if you minus that line, then there would be a division with the bottom part of this line and the top part of the short line, which was never a short line. And if it gets short enough to where it's square, it actually looks like a dot, right? So what happens is this line here becomes an I. So if this becomes an I and this line disappears, the top part of this becomes an I. So it would be II. Another way to look at it is this is actually a T. And this is an I going down because this leg cut through it. This would be T and I, and would also represent the number 2992, 1 every 4 years in a leap year, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're going to stop here. There's just so much stuff. I just want to get it all out, even if it's small. You know, there's just so much of it. Oh, I didn't finish off. I'm sorry. How can I do that? I didn't finish off with the primary objective. Primary objective is to get at least 1 page done. Okay, so where are we going to get to? So Egypt is in there as a point of energy And all these, we're nothing. North America, Canada, forget it. Go back to where it all began. Do you think it can be the Middle East actually? Because where would the Middle East be? Okay. Now, can you take the Middle East as the complete Middle East in between, I think, where Morocco is and the um, Europe? Or would you say it's Middle East and we'll just drop everything inside the Suez Canal and we'll say that's the middle and we're in the East? So whereabouts does that East start? And I do know where some of the stuff starts just by designing all the stars that you know, all the designs of stars that you have, designing one or two on top of each other. You can find the formation from those stars. You don't need anybody to start to create, well, how do I do this and that? Bring out your spirograph and turn it around and see what touches. It's basic like that. God had to create that way so you can find it that way. Um, I don't know if I left anything out. I always leave something out. Ron Paul, I'm still in with Ron Paul. He must, can I tell you something? He must run as an independent. He's going to have no choice. He's going to have at least, I don't know how many people, there's 350 million people in the US. How many people are allowed to vote? Let's say 20, let's say 70%, 70%, can I say 70% of the people are above the age of 18 that they can vote? Let's say 70%. So if there's 350 million in the US, so that'd be 210 and 35 is 245. Oh, nice number. 245 million people can vote. Okay, 245 million people can vote. Let's say 200 million people. Let's say 70% of those go out and vote. So you would have 140 million voting. Between you and me, how many? Between have 240 million. He's getting 4,000 that show up as these rallies. How many people does each person at a rally represent? How many people? Does it represent 10 people? Well, let me tell you how it works in my mind. When a man shows up for the caucus and he's only one man representing a state or representing a whole county or however that works, he's representing one man for thousands. So let's say, based on Facebook knowledge, that each man has 25 friends, 2.5 times the spirit number. When I mean 25 friends, okay, he has 25 friends within him that he can contact, and I'm talking about Facebook friends and people online. I'm not talking because I only have 4 or 5 friends that I never see, but I have about 100 friends on Facebook, and with I interact at least with 20 to 30 of them a week. Okay, so those are the friends. So if these people each had 25 friends of 4,000, that means every time Ron Paul goes out and gets 4,000, he's getting 100,000 votes. But that won't mean anything if these people in caucus or whatever you want to do, I don't know how that works. If he doesn't get any part of the 1,154, he's screwed up. So he's got to run as an independent, because I believe that 45% of the people will vote for Ron Paul. And the reason why the other 45 won't vote for him, because they're too fucking ignorant to try and learn what liberty stands for. Excuse me to knock the ignorant out. You are the ignorant one. Whoever thinks and knows they are the ignorant one, then they are. But if they know that they are the ignorant one, then they are the smart ones. They know they don't want to change, and it's for another reason and not for that reason at all. So the ignorant are very intelligent, but not all of them, because some don't care. Some just say, well, they're Republicans or they're this, so that's going to happen. It's not the way it is anymore, my friends. Don't you see the group? Okay, remember the group when it was the 2%, right? The group of Ron Paul. How can I explain this? Um, well, the bottom 2% didn't vote. Well, when they say the bottom 2% didn't vote, 80% of those would have voted for Ron Paul. So if you took out those 2% that didn't vote and put them back into Ron Paul running free on his own, that 2% would turn into at least between 25 and 30 million votes, all towards Ron Paul, of people that are not voting. And probably okay, the same amount of votes of ignorant voters. And another 20% are ignorant towards the stance because they actually are sort of dragged on partly by the church, partly by government. They do not know that their end of the stick will be eliminated eventually in the future, and only few will rest. So those who think they are on high pedestals, there is only one point for one spirit God. There is only one creator. There is only one beta God. But within a beta God, you need a beta world. And within a beta world, you need one who holds up the world, and that is the queen and the king. They are holding up the world, and they are holding up our sticks inside this world. It is time to cut loose those strands, to change our money and to go on our own, to risk the time, to prepare this summer, to grow our own fruits and vegetables in our own land, to grow hemp or to grow soybean or wheat so that we can power our own engines and get away from the motorized car, to stop traveling the great distance for what we need the cars. And why go to the city to a stock market that has a value like a balloon that one day will pop and never rise again? Why are we always investing in something that does not have a value within? Now, we all know business has a higher value than the actual worth of the daily sale. It's always a numbered time, but most of the companies are overrated, and that's no good. You don't want too much. Liberty means being in between and being able to stretch out to both sides. If you stay on one side and go over the line, you may lose your liberty, and that was based on your own judgment. We are the only fools, my friend. We are the only ones that make the choice. For when it is time that we have no choice, and it was not of our choice, and it was not reflected on what we did in our background, well, those are different times than the times of freedom that we enact. Now we learn what freedom and how to live by the words of freedom. Freedom has laws. Freedom has lots of laws. We have to learn those laws. We have to understand those laws. We have to reflect with each other to understand how the other understand those laws, so we can round it out a little bit. That way we're not cutting the point off of anybody else's travel from here and beyond. I feel more powerful in these days than any other days. I sleep within the night. I feel the energy coming down within me. It's so strong, but it's so beautiful because it seems like my dreams, although they're not so vivid, yet they're so real, as if I'm interacting with someone else, never ending up with an answer, never really feeling deceived, and waking up in the morning refreshed as though I was busy all night long. I really never wanted to go to sleep at night, because what am I going to do while I sleep? Will I ever wake up again? And now I go to sleep because I travel. And it's so beautiful to be able to continuously go 24 hours a day. It's just on. And I wake up in the morning refreshed as though I slept for 18 hours straight, sometimes a little tipsy off of that Seroquel they give me, but I still manage to make it out of bed in the morning. Another thing I wanted to say is that on the American flag, there's 49 empty spaces, and 49 stands for the number 8, which stands for the number of heaven. Okay, and not only that, okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8. There are 16 spaces empty on the outside, but there's 33 spaces empty on the inside of the flag. I'm going to show you what I mean. Here's the outside of the flag, right? Here's an empty space, right? But here's everything blocked in. All blocked in spaces equal 33. Okay? Command and create. But let me show you something that's a little off center. Watch. I'm going to show you. 1, 2, 3. And then from the bottom, 1, 2, 3. These two tie up. These two tie up. These two tie up. And these two tie up. This one blocks it in. Otherwise, we're at the edge of an empty space where it's open. Okay, so we just tie it into here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. You have 4. If you take a look at them, they create the beehive. If you really take a look at them, they're all mug and doves. If I extend this to here and I cross the lines on the bottom of the X, they all become magandabas. At the same time, every time you put a bar over an X, they tell you it's 10,000. Well, each one is based on X is man, one of man's soul is 10. Everything is 10 in this world. So when you put a bar across it, like over here, but this one's on the 0, it becomes 10,000. And when you hear the song Chris de Burgh, 10,000 souls are on the line, soon went up to 59, is because 59 is the birth and the passage. They're going right through into this world, into hell. That's what he's singing about. This is hell. This ends up to be hell. Based on the judgment of the song of Chris de Burgh's Spanish Train, we live in hell. He's sending the 59s all to here. He keeps losing to here, but it doesn't matter because here we die and we go back there. So it doesn't matter how many souls God lost, because he lost souls, and it's souls that become on this earth. We become electrified and become spirit souls, S&S, okay? But when the 59,000 souls came up to here, this 3 zeros soon went up to 59. He didn't say 3 zeros because 59 is already part of the 3 zeros, because the 5 and 9, okay, is the spirit passage, the 7th gate, and the birth. So Chris de Burgh's song is right on. We are in hell. I just discovered that today. Let's party and light up a cigarette. We're in hell. I never knew that till now. We learn together, my friends. I told you, sometimes my vids are not good. But you see, again, it's my vision. What I believe, I feel it, I see it, that the song makes it, because I know my numbers telling us that he's saying that earth is hell. Chris de Burgh's saying that earth is hell. Doesn't mean anything else. Maybe it's not hell. Maybe it's the complete opposite. Okay? But I do want to tell you that the passage of 2, 5, and 8 on your telephone, okay, is the B letter, the E letter, and the L. And the minute you put a cross against the L, or a life, becomes the I, it says bell, and without the cross, it says hell. H-E-L-L. 858. 858. Which, if you do the reversal, oh my God, 858 would be 522, which would be 155. The spirit of 55. Because you have to flip it this way, then you have to flip it this way, then you have to flip it this way, then you flip it this way. You have to see it from all the sides. I mean, you're each in your own room. You're each seeing it from your own side. You know, you're marking it down in a book, but you're each in your own corner. What else is there? There's always something. Another thing, there's so many things, and I've said this one before. I'm going to show you something about the cards, but before I go, I'm going to tell you about the Middle East and Turkey. If you take a look, and I've said this in many videos before, okay, take a look at the map of the Middle East, okay? It's a dog standing up with a graduate's hat, where Turkey, which resembles the 3 strikes, okay, because in bowling of Turkey is 3 strikes, Syria and Israel, the Jordan, the Arab states, all the way down to the bottom, right to the Emirates Arabs, in which is the tail of the dog, which could be the tail of the story, which could mean that it was down there that something happened. I don't know why. Something about the tail of the Arab Emirates. Okay, now to finish this off, you think that I demised you, that I put you down, that I said something against your race or creed, that I discolored the difference between our colors, our languages, I meant no harm. All I try to do is what you see I'm trying to do. If you're not sure of what I'm trying to get out, you can ask me. I want to bring the visions of all man's views closer together to show you that there's a reality of a creator, and once man has the reality of a creator, okay, he has the tendency to believe and to lean towards what does he want us to do. Because if man knows God can, pow, you're dead right now, then usually most man would want to follow him. You say, I want to follow him. I mean, I wouldn't follow him all the time. I mean, you never do know when he's going to make a mistake, right? I'm going to be there watching. Just in case God makes a mistake, I'll be there. And it says don't make fun of God, but you know what? I'm not. I'm watching my back door. He watches and scratches my back. I turn around and scratch his. You know what I'm saying? I scratch your back. You scratch mine. Follow me? I'm trying to show you that computers were here before time because all the work that I do come out from stupid designs like this. Okay, but I don't think they had Rubik's Cube to figure out how to write the name Einstein and figure out how perfect that name is. There's also another thing that I was going to leave you with. It was just one word, just one single word. And I don't know where it is. I'll look for it maybe in my next cassette. But there's one word I wanted to mention I wasn't sure of. What I was going to tell you is that I did this in another cassette. These are the months, and these are the number of letters in each month, okay? And the total of all these equals to 74, the number of Christ. Raphael 7286, 40 minutes again? I'm trying to do 2-minute videos. What's going on? I'm not here 40 minutes. You came all this way to meet me now? To see my show, what happens when it ends and it passes 2 minutes? I hope you skipped over everything. I mean, because this is the end of this video. I'm jumping on to the next video. This is 40 minutes? You're not serious. I seriously hope you skipped over most of this. Oh my God, that's insane. How am I ever going to get views when I give 40 minutes? I should do 100 videos a day of 2 minutes. And that would be fair. Anyways, for all of you that do not know, 59, 59, and 0 seconds left to go, it's actually saying EI, EI-O. Raphael 7286, and I will end this at 52 seconds. 41:52, not a second more.